Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Elephant Exposed. I am your host, Mr. CJ Jones, or TNTBS, or Mr. TNTBS. I just wanted to say before I get started with this next reaction video, thank you so much to our brand new subscribers. I am truly humbled, grateful, and thankful for all the support, all the great comments, the likes, the views. Um, I can't I can't, words can't express to me just how much um it feels, how it feels to be heard, understood, and even giving people a place to even express themselves. Yes, even whenever they do oppose your view. Those opposing views are very important because you get to see what the world actually looks like, what it actually thinks. And sometimes, contrary to your popular belief, we don't always agree. But just because we don't always agree doesn't mean that we can't find either common ground or find ourselves in a mature state of mind to where we can just agree to disagree and we go about our separate ways. With that being said, I want to say, do another special thank you uh, for the staff that had reached out to me and given me their verbal support and permission to continue to react. And so that's what I would like to do at this point in stage. So without further ado, this is coming from the platform of HN Newsroom. What's your say? They're still covering R. Kelly. And so this will be, again, a first view for me. So you're going to get a raw, natural reaction from me as we begin to venture off to this. So here we go.
You are welcome to HN What's Your Say, the #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly, real name Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as the R&B King. With all that's going on at the moment, with different opinions of what a Rico theory is flying around, government pretending to know it all and the trial judges choosing to take sides and unfairly disadvantage the defense, it's very easy for anybody to get lost in the mix-up and start imagining things that are completely untrue.
Mhm.
The lies government came up with to discriminate against R. Kelly and get him locked up with an indirect life sentence are so contagious and can easily contaminate the air we breathe to cause many to imagine that there is in fact a possibility R. Kelly can remain in prison for this. This is however only possible if one has not taken time to do their own research and have their own understanding of what some of these laws state, and how they apply to R. Kelly's case if they ever did in the first place.
Right.
While it's important to listen to what the attorneys say, becoming your own lawyer for a moment and searching through to get this information can prove to be the game changer as we seek more knowledge about this case against R. Kelly. But because we cannot admit all of us to law school, at HN Newsroom we always work hard to come up with simple steps anyone can follow to find the necessary information to better understand some of these facts we have been speaking on for the past 5 years.
Hmm.
A while back we did publish a video that guides the whole world on how to determine that Sony Records, the company that is largely behind R. Kelly's endless legal woes, actually does own Lifetime Television through some of its subsidiary companies. This was important to show the conflict of interest there exists between the entities that claim to be fighting R. Kelly. While Sony wanted us to believe that they dropped R. Kelly due to pressure from the Me Too movement, it turns out they were the Me Too as well. Or rather the force behind the pressure group. And this means when they prematurely ended their contract with R. Kelly even before he was placed on trial to determine whether he was actually guilty, they were in breach of contract, for it was all a game to get rid of him without paying the millions they owed him.
And guys, that's not an uncommon thing. If you notice that most of the time when it comes to any of these entertainers, be them in the music industry, in sports or whatever, anybody that is high profile, um, and they are being sponsored and or held to a contract produce, to produce, okay, because that's why they get paid the way they get paid, because of their talent, because of their skill. And then they enter into these contracts. Well, if you end up getting a stain on your reputation, then you begin to I use so in football I use analogies there a lot. Those sponsors will begin to pull the plug on you. And sometimes um they end up shooting themselves in the foot. And in most of those cases, like I was sharing with you guys the last time, that damage is already done. What damage am I talking about? The damage to the reputation, because our society is so feeble-minded to where, unfortunately, in the world of media, society just sucks up everything that they see flashing across the screen. This is why you hear news outlets constantly use this word all the time, because they know if they don't use this particular word, that they can be sued. This is why you always have to say alleged. Why? Because the Constitution says this, that you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. This is why even sometimes whenever I was responding to some comments that people were responding, or people were reacting to my video, it's like, leave, where he at, he deserves, he needs to go out in jail and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, okay, I hear you, I feel you. But based on what proven fact? Nothing. All you have is speculation, assumption, and circumstantial evidence, meaning that it's at best it's hearsay and something that is not clear, or something. In other words, it's too many questions around it. It's not solid. And when you're talking about someone's being brought up on charges and being ran through the court system, you have to have what we call, or what we would like to call in law enforcement, concrete evidence. If you don't have it, then you have to move on to something else or disregard what you have. But let's continue.
The going debate today is on the definition of a RICO enterprise and whether the charges are actually relevant for R. Kelly's case. During the recent New York appeal hearing that took place on the 18th of March 2024, Attorney Jennifer Bonjean made it clear to the appeal judges that in fact R. Kelly should be acquitted when it comes to the RICO charges that are simply misplaced and that were never supposed to be added to the indictment. What Attorney Jennifer Bonjean is suggesting, therefore, is that for the RICO charges to apply, the government was obligated to prove that R. Kelly did operate an illegal criminal enterprise, and to achieve this, they needed to prove that the members of this criminal enterprise did share in a common purpose to commit the alleged crimes. While the appeal judges had many questions in this regard, we believe that Bonjean did give them enough information to understand what she was trying to say, and to make the necessary decisions to see that R. Kelly is given the justice he deserves.
She did a great job.
The argument by the government state attorney is that they needed not prove a common illegal purpose because the jury instruction did not mention this, forgetting that in previous cases, the RICO jury instruction has remained the same, but the demand that the government proves a common purpose as demonstrated in Boyle versus United States of America case remained a prerequisite. Without proving a common illegal purpose, therefore, the RICO charges remain hanging with no supportive evidence and will be duly dismissed. As promised, we
That's
have
great.
condensed the proof of this what we are speaking on in 2 simple searches. And at the end of it all, you will decide for yourself whether it's Attorney Jennifer Bonjean telling the truth or the government. Feed into Google search the following keywords. What government must prove to convict with RICO? This will likely return a search result from a legal encyclopedia.
And there it is, guys. Sometimes these researches aren't really like hard to do at all. Just like the gentleman that caught the that senator sharing the story of the woman that was really abused down in Mexico, and she tried to use that as a antidote to react to President Joe Biden's speech. Um, all thing the what he said the only thing he did was just do a Google, and he just began to follow the breadcrumbs. And we can all do the same thing. So that's what they meant by you can be your own attorney, so to speak, and not legally, but in other words, let's just stop being so lazy. And all it takes is just for you to just take the word Rico. Google will tell you what it is and what it takes and what the government uh, has to prove, and then just apply it. And that's all you have to do, guys. It's really not that hard, but some of us are just so lackadaisical. We don't even want to do a simple Google search.
Media called Nolo at nolo.com, and the result reads as follows. To convict a defendant under RICO, the government must prove that the defendant engaged in 2 or more instances of racketeering activity, and that the defendant directly invested in, maintained an interest in, or participated in a criminal enterprise affecting interstate or foreign commerce. Mark the words criminal enterprise. Note that we are not arguing on whether a criminal enterprise has to be legal or illegal. All we are noting from this is the term criminal enterprise, which must be proved. And so now we move forward to determining what this criminal enterprise is that Bonjean insists the government was not able to prove during trial. And so we Google the search term, what is a criminal enterprise, by entering the phrase into the Google search tool. But this time we look for a particular resource known as Law Insider. This is a dictionary of laws available on the website lawinsider.com. And so we enter the search term, what is a criminal enterprise, at Law Insider. The result we get says the following. A criminal enterprise means a group of persons sharing a common purpose of engaging in criminal conduct, associated in an ascertainable structure distinct from a pattern of criminal activity, and with continuity of existence, structure and criminal purpose beyond the scope of individual criminal incidents. From this, mark the words common purpose of engaging in criminal conduct, and also beyond individual criminal incidents. This is what Attorney Bonjean has been trying to tell the appeal judges all along. If to charge RICO, government must prove a criminal enterprise, and the definition of a criminal enterprise involves a group of people who must have a common purpose of engaging in criminal conduct, then the government is wrong to imagine they needed not prove the common purpose to commit crime. This also clarifies that the common purpose must be to commit crime, not to promote singers' music. Without an illegal common purpose, therefore, RICO is not applicable, and guess what? That is what the government and the trial judges are objecting. In fact, the appeal court shouldn't be debating this obvious truth as in the audio that follows.
The alleged
But I think you're conflating the fifth and the first elements of a RICO claim. The first is just the existence of an enterprise. It can be a labor union, right?
Again, Your Honor, I'm not talking about the ascertainable structure. I'm talking about the
No, I'm not
structure.
talking about the ascertainable structure either. I'm talking about the legal entity of a labor union is sufficient for an enterprise.
Agreed. It still
The
doesn't have a
fifth
purpose.
element, no, the fifth element is that the defendant conducted or participated in the conduct of the enterprise through his previously established pattern of racketeering activity. So it has to be a link between what the defendant is doing as a pattern of racketeering activity and the conduct of the enterprise. That's the last element. You seem to be flipping that into the enterprise, and I think that's where you're getting confused.
I don't believe I can. I think the United States Supreme Court in Boyle made it very clear that an enterprise has to be more than just the pattern of racketeering.
According to Majarin, the appeal court should simply dismiss these bogus RICO charges because we all know they are inappropriate for R. Kelly's case. This shouldn't have even reached appeal level but for the compromised trial court judges who could not resist their overwhelming appetite to prejudice R. Kelly. The searches are clear. To prove RICO, one must prove a criminal enterprise. not just an enterprise.
Before he goes on further, did you guys really understand how the judge himself is so stuck mentally on where he is from a personal point of view, to where he's literally trying to stretch the definition of what a Rico enterprise really is. Oh, what enterprise, basically any business can turn into an enterprise with illegal activity. But here's the thing, everybody has to have some knowledge or knowing what that criminality is, whatever the crime is. Okay, that's the whole point. And you gotta basically be of one one's one mind, one focus, one goal. And that is to continue to commit this crime, but under cover of a legitimate business. In other words, these are where your mobs and things like that comes into play. Because even though that they are connected to actual businesses, like let's just use something that we saw from like Goodfellas or things like that. They ran restaurants, laundry businesses, different things like that, and those are called fronts. But what were they really doing behind closed doors? They were laundering money, they were selling drugs, they were into prostitution, things like that, and everybody knew it. That's your Rico. That's where you get the Rico charge from, okay? And then that's when the government can come in and seize everything and blah blah blah, and then run you through the gambit. But this clearly does not fit R. Kelly. That's why I said this was an overreach at best. And just because you want for someone to be guilty of something doesn't mean that they are. Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
But a criminal enterprise. And the definition of a criminal enterprise involves common purpose to commit crime.
Yes.
This means the enterprise must be the one rooted in crime, and not just a member of the enterprise. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing these topics,
So yeah, I just said it. So that was awesome to see. That was my first time looking at it. So there you have it. You have my raw reaction to HN Newsroom. What's your say? Again, we're proving in real time. We are proving in real time how this overreach of overcharging people, and like again, we are protected. We are protected from being falsely accused. And trust me, when all of this is said and done, all this is over, trust me, Mr. R. Kelly will have a very, very big and strong case against all these individuals that have really just came out against him, all for not just from personal feelings. You cannot bring personal feelings into a court of law. And that's the thing, guys. But anyway, that's all I needed to see. I just cannot wait for all of this to be settled, and I just wish the best for Mr. R. Kelly. I can't wait for him to be able to be free to do his music and everything freely. Of course, he's going to have an uphill battle when it comes to his reputation because, like I said, unfortunately, we live in a world to where, you're here today, you're gone tomorrow, we're praising you one day and then we're saying crucify him the next day. Sounds familiar for those that believe? Yes, of course. So this is what we got to go through. So let me know what you guys think, please. put it in the comments, and we will talk to you guys the next time. In the meantime, please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much.